Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi. How are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? And I hope that my confession, it is going to assist one or two people out there, especially those ones that are still involved, who are doing some criminal activities. They need to stop doing that, because one day you might steal from someone who uses a lot of charms, and then they will curse you, like what happened to me. So from a very young age, I was someone that was young and foolish, and I ended up doing something that I still regret a lot, something that has haunted me each and every day. And from that time until now, I can see that I am facing a lot of bad luck in my life. So in the village where I grew up in, there was an old woman. Everyone used to call this woman a witch because of what had happened to her husband, to her husband's children, relatives, as well as her children. They were all dead. At her house, it was really scary, and there are a lot of graves there. And there was another story that happened, but even though I knew that she was the one who had sacrificed her son, and after sacrificing her son, she had sacrificed her daughter-in-law, but still I thought that it was far much better to steal from this old lady, because I thought that this was an opportunity for me to become very rich. In the village, everyone knew me. They knew me as someone who was very naughty, someone who would steal. If there was something that would have been stolen in the village, they would say that it is me. In the village where I grew up, that woman was scared. Everyone would not even dare to tell her that she was a witch. She lived alone in a small house. People used to whisper that she had powers, and she had the powers, and she could cast spells and curses upon people. As for children were told to stay away from her, and even the bravest of the bravest men in the village, they all avoided crossing her path no matter what. There was no one who wanted to be seen as if they were on her bedside because of what she used to do to her enemies. But there was one thing that I had discovered at her home, even though there were news that were going around the village that she had some gold and some emeralds in her bedroom. And at that time, when everyone started to talk about this, I then investigated, and indeed I saw that this gold and the emeralds, they were not in her bedroom, but they were in this other room, which she was using as a grain storage room. And I knew that this was going to be very easy if I ever wanted to steal the gold and the emeralds. This is how she had gotten hold of the gold and the emeralds. What had happened is that she had her own son who had once gone to dig up for gold. When her son went to dig up for gold, and after he had gotten some, he then returned back and gave the gold to his mother, and then he thought of getting, that was when he thought of getting married. And after he had gotten married, he then started staying with his wife at his mother's house. But the mother wanted him to get married to another woman, not the woman that he had brought. And then they started to fight. And then she placed a curse upon her own son, and her son passed away. And after the son had passed away, that was when the woman that he had gotten married also passed away. And the relatives of that woman, then they said that they were not going to collect her body. And this woman, the old lady, she ended up burying her daughter-in-law all alone. And she was not even scared at all. She was not like scared to bury someone's daughter all alone. So even though I had all of this information, but I then told myself that it was far much better for me to do whatever that I had to do to collect this gold and the emeralds from her. I waited one night until it was dark. Then I made my way to her house. I was nervous at first, but I convinced myself that it was going to be easy. I broke in through a window, carefully, not making any sound at all. The house was dark and it smelled of strange herbs. The moment that I entered into that room, that was when I saw this other short boy, a tokoloshi, that rose up from the floor and it wanted to attack me, and I had also seen a snake in there. The moment that I screamed, that was when this old lady rushed in there. And this old lady, when she rushed in there, she then started to insult me, and she said, "What is going to happen if this tokoloshi of mine would have beaten you up and you would have died? You want people to say that I am a witch, I am a witch." Brother Nashi, that is what happened at that time, and she kicked me out. I then ran and I returned back home. When I returned back home, I thought that I had finally gotten away, but then I started to have strange dreams. I used to have dreams about this old witch. She will be standing at the foot of my bed, her eyes burning with anger. Most of the times she will be saying a lot of curses, like the same curse that she said on the day when she found me trying to steal her gold and the emeralds. She said that, "May the spirit of poverty follow you. Wherever you are going to, the spirit of poverty is going to follow you and you are going to suffer. You are never going to have a child in your life." So at that time, I was still very young. I did not even understand what she was trying to tell me, and when she cursed me like that, I just ignored her, but I kept on dreaming and having a lot of nightmares about this woman. When I was all grown up, that was when I had an accident. I had climbed up this other tree, and whilst I was in that tree, that was when I collapsed. And after I had collapsed, I then saw that my manhood, it was as if it was broken, Radhanashi. And then I recovered. I did not go to the hospital since we were like deep in the villages. For me to go to the clinic, that was going to be a very long distance. So I just went to this other traditional healer who assisted me, and my manhood, I thought that it was okay. But right now I have so many challenges. I have stayed with at least 5 women. All of these women that I have stayed with, I have since failed to impregnate them, and I don't think that I'll ever be able to make a woman fall pregnant for me because of what happened. So some of the women that I have stayed with, they have since told me that I cannot make a woman to fall pregnant, and they have since dumped me. And I went to the doctors and I had my semen tested, and I was told that everything is okay. But I think that this woman, the spell that this woman placed on me, it is the one that is making me not to be able to have any children at all. If you see the way that I live my life, you can feel very sorry for me, because I was once staying with this other woman, and after I had gotten my salary, so since I do not have a bank account, my boss just gives me my salary. It will be inside an envelope, and when I returned back home, me and my wife, we then hid the money, but then we found out that inside the envelope, the money was gone. There was only a 5-cent, an old 5-cent coin, and that was not the first time that it happened. This has been happening for the longest time. So I know that it is that woman who is bewitching me. So I want your listeners to assist me if they know any place where I can go to, so that I can be helped, so that this spirit of poverty can be chased away from me. And if there is a traditional healer as well who can assist me so that I can make a woman that I'll be with to fall pregnant, I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Please let us talk about this issue in the comment section.